They may be tiny, but Pomeranians have big personalities packed into their fluffy little bodies. Whether you're drawn to their adorable looks or their bold, sassy energy, there's a lot to love, but also a few things to seriously consider. In this video, we're diving into the real pros and cons of owning a Pomeranian so you can decide if this pint-sized pup fits your lifestyle. Welcome back to Doggy Pedia, where we bring you all things dog-related. Today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of owning a Pomeranian. Let's begin. Pros. 1. Pomeranians are beautiful. Let's be honest. One of the first things that draws people to Pomeranians is just how ridiculously adorable they are. With their tiny faces, fluffy coats, and that confident little strut, it's hard not to fall in love at first sight. It's no surprise that a lot of people want one just based on looks alone. And while cuteness definitely adds to their charm, it's important to remember that looks aren't everything when it comes to picking the right dog for your lifestyle. That said, Pomeranians do have this way of making you smile even on your worst days, and their sweet little expressions can melt stress like magic. So yes, their cuteness might get your attention, but it's their big personality in that small, fluffy package that really keeps people hooked. 2. Pomeranians are always alert to their surroundings. Pomeranians may be tiny, but they've got big personalities, especially when it comes to being on alert. These little fluff balls are super aware of what's going on around them and won't hesitate to let you know if something seems off. They've got a bit of a reputation for being yappy, but that actually comes in handy when someone's at the door or walking by your window. You definitely won't have to worry about anyone sneaking up on your house with a Pom around. Of course, they're not going to scare off an intruder with their size, but they're excellent at giving you a heads up. 3. Pomeranians are highly trainable dogs. Pomeranians are incredibly smart, especially when compared to a lot of other small dogs. This makes training a lot easier, especially if you start when they're young. They're people-focused too, so they're usually eager to listen and please. But here's the thing, their brain needs just as much attention as their cute little face. If they don't get enough mental stimulation, they can get bored fast, and a bored Pom can become a bit mischievous. Think of it like this, they're the kind of dog that needs little jobs to do. Whether it's learning fun tricks, playing puzzle games, or even trying out mini agility courses. So if you're someone who loves an interactive pet that can keep up with you mentally, a Pomeranian will definitely keep things interesting. 4. Pomeranians are excellent family dogs. Pomeranians can actually be awesome little family dogs, especially if you've got older kids at home. Because they're so tiny and delicate, they're not the best match for toddlers who might be a bit too rough without meaning to. Even a small bumper drop can scare them or cause them to act snappy later on. But if your kids are a little older and know how to be gentle, a Pom can fit right in. They love being around people and get super attached to their humans, so they're perfect if you're looking for a loyal little buddy who just wants to hang out with the family, snuggle on the couch, and follow you around like your tiny fluffy shadow. 5. Pomeranians are easy to carry around. Pomeranians are tiny, and that's honestly one of the reasons so many people love them. Their small size makes them perfect if you live in an apartment or don't have a ton of space to spare. You can easily scoop them up and bring them along when you travel, and a lot of airlines even allow them in the cabin with you. On top of that, smaller dogs are usually more affordable to take care of. They eat less, their grooming tools and beds are cheaper, and even things like crates or carriers cost less. You're not just saving space. You're saving money too. One Pom owner even said Poms are the best if you've got a small home or you don't want to deal with the demands of a big dog. They're compact, cute, and totally manageable. What's not to love? 6. Pomeranians live for a long time. One awesome thing about Pomeranians is that they often live a long time. Many make it to 14 or even 16 years old with proper care. That means if you bring one into your life, you're signing up for a long-term companion who will be by your side for many years. It's a big emotional commitment, but it also means you get to enjoy their lovable, quirky personality for a good chunk of your life. Cons. 1. Pomeranians have fragile bodies. Pomeranians may be tiny and adorable, but that also means they're really delicate. You have to keep an extra close eye on them because even a small accident, like someone stepping on them or a rough cuddle, can seriously hurt them. If you've got toddlers running around, this can be a problem since little kids don't always know how gentle they need to be. While their small size makes them easy to carry and manage, a lot of people don't realize just how careful you need to be. So if you're thinking about bringing a Pom home, make sure your household is calm enough to keep them safe. 2. Pomeranians can be noisy. Pomeranians are definitely talkers. These tiny dogs love to bark, and they do it a lot. Sometimes it's super helpful, like when they let you know someone's at the door or if something doesn't seem right. But other times they'll bark at pretty much anything: friends, birds, noises, or even just because they feel like it. If you live in an apartment or have close neighbors, all that yapping might become a problem. The good news is, with the right training, you can teach your Pom when it's okay to bark and when it's time to quiet down. It just takes some patience and consistency. Start early and keep practicing those quiet commands regularly, because these little fluff balls definitely have opinions, and they're not afraid to voice them. 3. Pomeranians may control you. Pomeranians are smart, but with that intelligence comes a bit of a sneaky streak. These little fluff balls can be super independent and even a little manipulative if you're not careful. They'll quickly figure out what works to get what they want, like pretending to be helpless for extra treats or using their cuteness to avoid listening to you. They're not exactly the type to follow commands just because you said so, like a golden retriever might. That's why it's really important to train them consistently and with patience. They'll respond well if you're respectful and firm, but if you let them walk all over you, they absolutely will. 4. Pomeranians can be difficult to house train. House training a Pomeranian can definitely test your patience. Even though these little dogs are smart and can learn quickly, their tiny bladders make things tricky, especially when they're puppies. They just can't hold it for very long, so you'll find yourself cleaning up accidents if you're not super consistent. Unless you've got a few weeks off and can stay home to take them out constantly, it might be tough to get the hang of it. A lot of Pom owners set up an indoor potty spot like puppy pads or a small litter box, at least in the beginning. Letting them outside alone isn't always the safest option either, because they're so small that they could actually be at risk from predators like hawks or coyotes, depending on where you live. So if you're planning to bring one of these fluff balls home, just be ready to go all in with patience, a good routine, and maybe a backup bathroom plan indoors. 5. Pomeranians are prone to dental problems. Pomeranians are prone to dental issues, and their tiny mouths don't help. A lot of owners are surprised by how quickly their Pom's teeth can go downhill if they're not on top of brushing or vet dental cleanings. If you skip dental care, they can end up losing teeth or dealing with painful infections. So yeah, it's not the most glamorous part of owning a Pom, but brushing those tiny teeth is a must if you want to keep your pup healthy. 6. Pomeranians shed heavily. If you're thinking about getting a Pomeranian, just know, they shed. A lot. These little fluff balls have a thick double coat, and that beautiful fur has a way of getting everywhere. So if you're not a fan of finding hair on your clothes, furniture, or even in your coffee mug, this might not be the dog for you. The good news is, because they're so small, it's not quite as overwhelming as a big dog shedding. Still, during shedding seasons like spring and fall, it can feel like they're losing enough fur to make a whole new Pom. Regular brushing really helps keep things under control, but be prepared for some extra cleaning and lint rolling in your life. So, Pomeranians definitely come with their fair share of perks and challenges. It's super important to think about all of this before you bring one home. But also remember, every Pom has their own little quirks. Some are extra cuddly, others more independent, and a few might surprise you completely. Just like people, they all have their own personalities. If you're ready to put in the time, love, and patience, a Pom can be an incredibly loyal and entertaining little companion. At the end of the day, it's all about finding the right match for your lifestyle and giving them the best life possible. Got a funny or surprising story about your Pom? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun pet videos. And if you know someone who's thinking about getting a Pom, make sure to send this their way. See you in the next one.